Hey everyone, it's Amber here with Social Speak. I want to show you how easy it is to create a newsletter template on MailChimp. MailChimp is free, yes, free, up to 2,000 contacts, so I highly recommend you create an account today. If you already have an account, let's go ahead and log in. And once you log in, you're going to go to Create Campaign. It's going to ask you what you want to do. Create an email, an ad, or a landing page. Today we're going to create an email. And you can name this whatever you want. I'm just going to put newsletter. And what I'm going to do, you would fill out who this is going to, so the list that it's going to go to, who it's from, what the subject line is, and then design email. And I had actually started a template already I want to finish. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete this one real quick. And I'm going to open up the one that I had started before. So here I created the newsletter template by going to create campaign. I have the list it's going to, the from, the subject, and what I want to do is click Edit Design. This is going to take me into the area where I can edit my design. There's tons of different templates you can choose from. So if you don't like this design, you can come back and say, okay, I want to look at the theme templates. Again, that's featured, e-commerce, events, holiday, integrations, and newsletters. And the template that I chose was this one here. Now, let's say that's really not working for me. As I'm putting it together, I really don't like the look and feel. I may want to look at, let's do something like, maybe something like this, something maybe a little bit more simple. And I can click Change Template or Select Template if you haven't selected a template already. And so you could see this, green coloring here. This is the header. Now, what I would do is create a custom header for your emails. And you can do that through Canva. And I would either use, I would probably use the blog banner, or maybe even like the Facebook banner would be a good one. So let's look at Facebook. And I am just going to show you an example of this. This isn't really what our newsletter is going to look like. I just want to give you something simple to look at. So let's just do this. And maybe we just do social speak. Oops, let's spell social right. And let's change out our colors to match. So you can change this. And again, I'm just going to kind of go through this quickly so you can just see how easy it is to. And maybe let's change this to like a white. And white code is FFFFFF. And let's see if I can. So let's just say this is what I want my header to look like for right now, okay? We can click File, Save. You can download this, and we want it to be a PNG, transparent background. You're going to download, and you can just name this, whatever, newsletter header. And you can change this out to each month. You don't have to have, you can maybe come up with 4 or 5 different headers that you want to swap out for each month's newsletter. So you'd come back to your campaign, and here's the header. I'm going to click Edit, and I'm going to click Replace, and I'm going to come to Upload. and I saved that on my desktop, so I'm going to click right here. And I want to make sure that I have my URL in here, so I can click this link and make sure that it's there. So I can click save. And that didn't, why didn't that upload correctly? Did I change this? Oh. Okay, let's try this again. I must have clicked something that wasn't working correctly. So you would make sure you have your header. Come back into here, click upload. There we go. Oops, I didn't change it into save it as a biscuits, as a JPEG. Let's do that. Sorry about that. Okay, so let's try this again. So let's click upload, JPEG, and then we want to make sure that that link is still there, correct, hit save. So this is going to be my header. Then what I would want to do is come here to design, and each column here or row has its own, so you can change this fallback color. We can change it to a bright pink if we want it to. We can change it to white. You can change it to, you know, any color you want. And again, as when you're keeping these things, when you're putting this email campaign together, think of your brand colors, okay? So it's important to make sure that your newsletter matches your brand colors. And so let's just go through here and change out all of the colors. So these are matching our brand colors, and you would click save. And then you would come in here to the pre-header, and then let's go back to the header background. Since we have this header in here, I can change this to kind of give it a little bit more oomph if I want to, or I can change it to the white. And then you can, you know, change this header link to pink, and you would click back and go to columns. So you're just going through to make sure that each of the colors for the font is the right colors that you want. Now you only have to do this one time if you choose to just duplicate this campaign each month. And let's go to the footer. Okay, so then let's click save. Oops, I didn't mean to save and close. Let's go back to edit design. And what we're gonna do, so here is our design. Now, one thing that I recommend here is you can do, when you're creating your newsletter, you want to make sure you're giving value. So what I always like to do is I like to put in a blog post. So I would put the image here, and then I would put in the blog title. And so that would be my blog post. Here would be, if you are doing cause marketing, says help the cause. You can come right into here and put in your information for the cause you're working with that month. You can edit your social media here. So you would have each of the links. You can also add another link. So let's say you want to have your website, or if you want to have YouTube's on here, Pinterest, LinkedIn, you can have any of them that you want, and you hit save and close. And then a couple things that I always want to remind you of. If you don't want this box here, you can just click delete. If you want just an image, it's super easy to just drag, click and drag to bring over. If you are highlighting products, maybe having an image group. If you just have text, you can put that text there. Now, one thing you want to think of, if you were having a blog here and maybe another article here, we may want to have a divider. So we want to bring that divider in so it is clear that you're breaking up that blog and article. You can change that size here if you want, but usually I just set it with the default and click Save and Close. And then at the way bottom here where it says copyright, this is where people, I know I always forget to take these things out. I usually take out these rewards. I always want to change how you receive these emails. Everything else I basically just take out so it's simple. People can change their email preferences if they want. And I always, let's just say, do Arial, and let's make sure that it's large enough for them to read. So I click Save and Close. And then the other thing too is up top. So sometimes this will have, it will say this space is used for such and such. So make sure that you just pay attention to all of these little things. Here, if you click on page, this is a background image. So I can remove the image and it's just white. I can add a background image and let's see if I have an image in here just to show you. We can do this one. And I can click Insert. And it's going to bring up that, that image. So you can, make this as customized as you want for your newsletter. And I highly recommend spending, a little bit of time to really figure out what is it that you are wanting to accomplish with this, because you want it to be something that you can duplicate each month. See how this image is not large enough? So it's going to break it up. So you're going to see the image six times in a row. So what we want to do is remove that. And as you're finding something, if you don't have a picture in here, you can upload an image as well. So you can just go to upload and then find the image that you want. You want, let's just say I want to have this mermaid on there. And then what you would do is, as that's uploading, you want the image to be large enough. And when you're thinking of doing an image for the background, I would make sure that it's simple. See how this mermaid, you can't tell that it's a mermaid. It's a little pixelated. But if you had something that would just had some colors, so you may want to go to Pixabay and maybe do teal background. And you can find something that has a little bit of texture to it, like this, and something that just gives it a little bit more oomph rather than just a solid white or a solid background color. So thinking of something, not with a lot of texture or that's too crazy, but just something that is simple. Here, if we did these watermarks here, let's just save image as, and we'll put that onto desktop. Come back here, click remove image, add image. We're going to upload this. And I put it onto my desktop. So once you have, it's going to take a little bit of time. See, that looks much bigger, but we also may want to find something a little bit larger. So we may want to see if, this one we could download. Because if you look at this, you are going to see that it cuts off right here. Okay, so just paying attention to and see how it's not large enough. So what I would do is I would just come back in here and I would just choose, rather than doing an image, I would just choose a color to give it a little bit more oomph. And then see if I can find a larger image that has a little bit of texture to it. So you don't want to distract the people from your email, but you want it to be eye-catching and something that they want to read. So this is how you would create your email campaign. You'd have your header, your topic of the newsletter. This is where I would put like your most recent blog post with maybe the first paragraph, or if you have 5 tips, and then I would put a link in there that says read full blog here. So they're going from your newsletter to your website. I would have an article or tips, maybe a recipe. It depends on your industry. You just want to make sure that you're giving value to your audience. Why do they want to read your newsletter? Give them something that they're going to take away. Make sure you have your social media links in here. Maybe you have a closing or contact or whatever it may be. So once you have your template created, you can just click Save and Close. And let's say, and then what you would do is then you would have, make sure this is all filled out, that you have your subject line filled out. And what you would do is, this is letting me know that they have, didn't change my content. So then you could do is click Send or Schedule. I'm just going to click Finish Later. Then next time I want to come in and I have that newsletter template, I can simply come here and click Replicate. So I can say this is going to be April 2018 newsletter, and then in May I can come in and just click Replicate, and I can change out my header, swap out the text that I need to, but keeping the image scheme or the color scheme the right way. So what I would do is I would come into Canva and I would create maybe 4 or 5 different email headers that I can swap out, each month. And I think that it all have the same colors, but maybe just has, a different background image or different feel, but keep those, the colors consistent. And it is so simple. And then all you can do is just replicate and do it for the next one. So I hope that works. If you have questions, please let us know. Thank you.